Hello, welcome to Black Friday with Brittany Kennedy. Today is May 15th, 2020, and it's Friday, y'all, which is why it's called Black Friday with Brittany Kennedy. I hope you guys are having a lovely week or had a lovely week. Looking forward to the weekend. Once again, not so much different than any other day of the week, I don't feel like, because we really can't go outside or do much, but I'm excited because this weekend is my best friend's birthday, and though I don't get to be with her out in Italy, I get to wish her happy birthday from here. I love you guys. I hope you have a beautiful, beautiful weekend filled with love, peace, happiness, and all that you desire. So, once again, guys, I hope you guys are staying safe. Stay inside, please. And if you have to go outside, obviously take precautionary measures. Make sure you've got your Purell, your gloves, your mask, your hazmat suit, whatever you need, just to stay safe. For those of you guys that are new to Black Friday, this is a space where I like to talk about socioeconomic issues that are too taboo in the Black community to talk about. Things that we don't like to discuss, I like to discuss them here to bring awareness. My thought is that bringing awareness about these issues will help us create solutions. Hopefully it's helping. I hear it's kind of helping, even though I'm not like a 1.5 thousand whatever trillion views or whatever. That's completely fine. I love that people are coming to this channel, you're engaging in the channel, you're posting comments on Facebook about it, and I'm just excited that it's actually being paid attention to, that the information is actually being absorbed by my lovely people, supporters. Thank you. I want to talk about killing Black people. And I laugh when I say it, but it's because it's the only way I could think of saying the title. This whole thing with Ahmaud Arbery is very sad. The Black community obviously is very outraged. We are angry, we're upset. And it seems as though there was quite a few killings afterwards that really kind of sparked more attention and kept that momentum going. But the thing that interests me most about this, besides the fact that I can't stand my people constantly being killed for the fact that they're Black, and some people don't like it, Black people killing or being killed is not a trend, yet it seems to be trending. It's like the thing that is consistent year after year. Black Lives Matter, Black Lives Matter. And so I'm curious to know, when does Black lives actually matter to when you guys stop killing us? That's my concern. When does that happen exactly? Obviously, killing us is not new. You guys have been doing it for a long time now. The only thing that's new is that we can now record you. We actually can put you on a live Facebook feed, a live Instagram feed. We can actually hear your racist comments, and your badgering and your beatings can actually be placed on a forum to where mass people get to see it. You no longer get to dictate who gets to know and who doesn't get to know. And let's face it, Ku Klux Klan isn't really the most pompous group because they wear hoodies so they can mask their faces. Because if you're really about that life, you take your damn hood off. I'm just saying. So now social media has become the Black man's greatest tool, because now we take off the mask. We can now give you a face, an identity that can be tracked, and you can lose your job. You can lose support of your community. But then who knows, you can go to a white supremacist group and gain another kind of community. Whatever. But I'm deeply saddened by what happened to Ahmaud Arbery. I am a runner, and whilst I would not be going into a construction site, drawing attention to myself, the only thing this man really did was jog in the neighborhood. He thought he was safe. He thought he was okay. It was his neighborhood. And yet, he was gunned down in the middle of a street in broad daylight. Where were the neighbors? It's COVID-19. Weren't you all home? Didn't you open the windows and find out what the fuck just happened? Or is it kind of common, or you kind of already knew? I don't know. But anywho, I want to get down to the meat of this, and obviously this is the meat, but I want to talk statistics, right? And so I took the liberty of looking up statistics that I will share in the bottom below, so you can go and check them out for yourself. The first one is from mappingviolence.org, and this website maps the statistics of black killings from police officers. In 2019, 1,099 people were killed from police. Black people were 24% of those killed, despite being only 13% of the population. There are only 27 days in 2019 where police did not kill someone. That's not even a full fucking month. That's not even February on leap year. Black people are most likely to be killed by police, 3 times more likely to be killed by police than white people, 1.3 times more likely to be unarmed compared to white people. I don't understand it. You got a white person with a gun, a barrel in your face, and you take all the proper precaution. Oh, please, Johnny, don't resist. I'm going to arrest you now. Let that be a brother with a cell phone and he's shot dead. Another statistic, black people are 6 times more likely to be killed by police in Oklahoma than Georgia. 8 of the 100 largest city police departments kill black men at higher rates than the U.S. murder rate. Bruh. You police officers are killing people at a higher rate than the murder rate? That's insanity. These cities are Reno, Oklahoma City, Santa Ana, Anaheim, St. Louis, Scottsdale, Hailey, I don't know how to pronounce that, Madison, Las Vegas, Spokane, Riverside, Albuquerque, Orlando, Kansas City, and Phoenix. I'm never going to be living in none of those places, and I'm going to make sure that my son never travels through them. But by then, you probably would have already increased the cities that you are now killing at in a greater rate than the murder rate. Do that shit in Louisiana if you want to. Yeah, so this is just absolutely insanity. There's no accountability. 99% of killings by police from 2013 to 2019 have not resulted in officers being charged with a crime. You guys have a badge and you're just good to go. You're like, I got a license to kill black people. That's ridiculous. There's no excuse for police violence. Buffalo, New York, with a population of 258,959 percent people of color is 50%, so half of that. Violent crime rate 12 per 1,000. 0 killed by Buffalo police. That's really the big issue here. Now, in transition to Orlando, Florida, population 255,483. Percent people of color, 42%. Violent crime rate, 9 per 1,000, less than Buffalo. And 13 people killed by Orlando police from 2013 to 2016. So it's obviously possible for you guys not to shoot black people. Buffalo, New York does it. So, yeah, you guys check this article out. Again, it'll be in the bottom. I want to go ahead and go into the story about Ahmaud Arbery. Now, I found it very interesting. This is reporting from CNN.com. Homeowner says no crime was committed at under construction home Ahmaud Arbery may have visited before shooting. This man did not even report anything at all to the police. So it says here, by the time Larry, who was the homeowner, saw the video, Mr. Arbery had been killed, English attorney Elizabeth Grady said. Now, I don't want to take away from the fact that this man was killed extremely unjustly at all. I do want to hone in on the fact that he was somewhere he shouldn't have been. He was going on a run. Why did he go into this construction site, a home that did not belong to him? again, I am not taking away from the fact that this man was killed unjustly. There's no reason for that. I don't care what the man was doing unless he had a gun pointed at you. There's no reason for him to be shot. There's no reason for him to die. I think that, and I'm pretty sure Ahmaud Arbery already knew this. I'm sure his parents told him, like, you know, just the basics of like, hey, don't steal, don't, like, kind of, what would that be called? My mind's going blank here, but don't enter a home that is not yours, unwarranted, you know, you can get the police called on you, things can happen. And so my thoughts is that I would like to believe that he was somewhat aware, could have been aware of the environment that he lived in here in Georgia, or there in Georgia, not here. But I would like to have thought that he knew that he was in kind of a racist environment. But then again, it's like, even if it's vandalism or trespassing, that's the word I was looking for. Even if it's trespassing, I don't think you think like, I'm trespassing into a space that's vacant right now in broad daylight. You're not thinking you're going to get shot. So even though he was doing something he shouldn't have been doing, I understand that the ramification or consequences were nowhere near in his mind what actually happened. So it's extremely unfair. It's extremely unjust. But this situation to me was just extremely interesting. I want to get down to when this video popped up, which I could not find exactly the date that the video was released, but we all know that this man died February 23rd, 2020, right? And the case didn't really gain traction until about a month ago. And that's a long time. That's 2 months that had gone by. There were no arrests made. But anywho, there's a 30-second video that shows the killing, which was captured by William Roddy Bryan. Bryan's attorney, Kevin Goh, said he was just a bystander with no relationship to the McMichaels. Goh disputed Greg McMichael's claim to the police that Bryan was helping them attempt to head off Arbery. Okay, whatever. That was kind of what I was thinking there. It's like, why were you behind them videoing and why didn't you do anything? When asked why Bryan didn't call 911 after the shooting, Goh didn't have an immediate response other than to note that police sirens were audible almost immediately. He said it was clear to everyone involved that police were en route. Okay, they were en route. But did you stay at the scene of the crime? Because you witnessed it. You were the only one who witnessed it, as far as what we know. And yet you left. You pretended like you didn't see it. You eventually felt guilty and then turned the video over. I think that's how the story goes. Why? Like, at that moment in time, you were an eyewitness where even though they knew who did it, you could have had a hand in making sure these people got justice, due diligence right there on the spot. They could have been arrested. But anywho, yeah, I want to delve into this. What we know about the killing. This was interesting to me. An April 1st autopsy report obtained by CNN Tuesday shows Arbery was shot 3 times, including twice in the chest. Arbery suffered a deep gaping shotgun graze to his right wrist, as well as wounds to his upper left chest and lower middle chest, according to the report. 13 shotgun pellets exited Arbery's back, and 11 more were recovered from his wounds, the report says. I'm confused. So, if you were shot 3 times, including twice in the chest, how did 13 shotgun pellets exit your back? I don't know. Maybe I'm not a really good marksman. Wink, wink. But that doesn't really seem like it adds up to me. I don't know. Yeah, this story just really is all kinds of fucked up. Like, completely all kinds of fucked up. Now, I want to get down to the prosecutor part, because this part is what was really interesting. This is why it actually took as long as it did to have the individuals, the McMichaels, actually arrested. So, excuse me. Investigators aren't only focused on the shooting, they're piecing together why for weeks the case was passed down from prosecutor to prosecutor with no arrest. Asked Friday why the GBI, which took over the case last week, quickly arrested the McMichaels when local authorities did not do so for weeks. GBI Director Vic Reynolds said he couldn't speak to the actions of other agencies. I'm very comfortable in telling you that there's more than sufficient probable cause in this case for felony murder, he added. After the killing, 2 prosecutors were excused themselves because of their connections to Greg Michael, and a 3rd prosecutor was replaced this week by the state attorney general. So, 1 prosecutor removes himself. Sorry, I'm connected to them, I cannot arrest them. I can't do the case, I'm conflict of interest or whatever. Okay. 2nd person, same thing. Okay. He was killed in February. It took you until 2 weeks ago to find somebody that was not related or not associated with these people to actually arrest them? Come on. My feeling is that you guys thought we were just going to let COVID-19 overshadow the case and these people were just going to kind of walk like sky free. That's my thought process. I don't know. But yeah, this to me is just very interesting. So I'm going to shoot over to the next article, which comes from Insider.com. Let's see here. The shooting death of Ahmaud Arbery, a timeline of a case that's gripping the nation. So the timeline to me is very interesting. February 23rd, Ahmaud Arbery has gone down in broad daylight, right? Then we move on. February 23rd to 25th, Jackie Johnson, the district attorney from the Brunswick Judicial Circuit, recuses herself from the Arbery case. Hands it over to another prosecutor. Okay? April 2nd. Barnhill, the second DA to step aside, tells the police there are no grounds for an arrest. Shooting a man in broad daylight, killing him, you and your racist ass son. There's no grounds for arrest? I'm sorry. There's a video. There's a complete video out. But yet there's no grounds for arrest. So, this bastard here recuses himself. Because of his connections or whatever. Let's move on. April 13th, Arbery's case lands on the desk of Tom Durden, a 3rd district attorney. May 5th, a defense attorney leaks a graphic video of Arbery's shooting death on social media. Okay, so, well, the video was leaked on May 5th. I just want you to understand that. But they had actually already had it in their hands, from my understanding. Whenever this gentleman said there was no reason, there's no evidence, sufficient evidence to arrest these people. Bullshit. I call complete bullshit. May 6th, Arbery's parents and attorneys held a news conference decrying their child's death and pushing officials to arrest the McMichaels. Here it is, May 6th, we still have no arrest, right? February 23rd. Like, honestly. So I gave birth on February 13th, that's 10 days before this gentleman died. My son was already 3 months old by the time you guys decided, like, okay, let's make the arrest. Bullshit, complete bullshit. But that's just pushing for it. May 6th supporters are really, really going in. And May 7th, finally, you guys, the Georgia Bureau of Investigation decides to arrest the McMichaels. These ugly, cracker, racist motherfuckers. Speaking of which, I don't know if you know why people call white people cracker. It's not because they resemble crackers, they do. It's actually because of slavery. When a white man would whip his slave, the noise it would make was crack. So they started calling them crackers. Just a little history there. I missed it. This May 8th is when everybody ran 2.23 miles in recognition of the day that he died. And I'm curious if 2.23 miles was like the mile that he was on when he died or what. But I'm a runner. I wish I would have. Well, I still want to have actually gone, but I would have done something like indoors to celebrate that. But I wasn't aware they were doing that. So then I missed out. But I'm paying my tribute here by covering and talking about this horrendous story. I'm just overwhelmed. Like, I'm so happy that we showed up the way that we did. I don't want to cry, but yeah, that people showed up in the neighborhood. That, like, I'm looking at these images, and these images are of the new Black Panther group, or Black Panther Party, going down a main road here, and you just got all these bicycles and all these, like, just all this support, in a park in Georgia. And yeah, so May 10th to 11th, Georgia's Attorney General taps the DOJ and GBI to probe the handling of the Arbery case. So I'm hoping that people are going to lose their jobs, because people need to lose their job. May 11th, a 4th district attorney is pulled into the closely watched case. And it looks like this gentleman, never mind, sorry. May 11th, an autopsy reveals that 2 gunshots blast to the chest killed Arbery. Like, this poor man. This could be anybody's child. 25 years old. Just a full life ahead. A completely full life. I don't even understand it. Like, this stuff makes me think about, like, my son, who's only 3 months old. Like, what do I do? How do I teach him to stay protected at all times? First of all, the law. Teach your children the law. They need to know the law inside and out. And this is from a racist white person on the street with no badge. But had this be a police officer, know your rights. Understand your environment. Be attentive. Instill the importance of why you should not be trespassing in somebody's home or doing something that you shouldn't be doing. The next thing I want to talk about, this gentleman from Indianapolis who was killed during a Facebook Live. Now, they're chasing after him because he was driving recklessly. Okay? So, as a black man, as a black person in this very racist country, you don't need to do anything that draws attention to yourself. Be who you are. Be free to be who you are. But do not break the law and assume that somehow you are going to get away with it. Because, in fact, you might get away with it. But that one time that they decide to pull you over because you're driving recklessly is that one time that it might be your last time. And I don't understand why people think that they're invincible. I'm going to speed and do what I want to do. I don't care. First of all, you have no regard for the people on the road. And I don't give a fuck how great of a driver you think you are. You ain't NASCAR. So there's no reason to be drawing attention to yourself, waving to the police like, hey, come and stop me. And then when they try to stop you, you're not stopping. So now they're pissed off. By the time they catch up to you, they are 100% almost likely to exert some kind of police brutality and excess force. Now, in most cases, I would have thought it would have just been, not just been, because I don't want to undermine any kind of police brutality. But I would have thought it may have resulted in some misproper handling, a little bit more aggressiveness. But they're definitely pissed off. It's like, I'm not even going to defend them. I'm not defending them whatsoever. But I'm just trying to paint the picture here. So by the time they catch up to you, now granted, this article talks about that the person who actually shot him was a black man, which is interesting. But now, so you went on Facebook Live. Thankfully, you've got a lot of people who are listening, tuning in. You did one thing smart. But the crazy thing is, like, when I saw this video, I'm sitting there thinking, yo, what's happening? What did this man do? Or, like, what kind of danger is he in? I'm not realizing the motherfucker's fleeing from the police. How did you think that story was going to unfold? And again, I am not excusing any kind of behavior. There was another way. This man had no reason to die either. He also had no reason to be in that situation. And so we need to educate our children on the reality. Just thinking about this stuff, now I'm realizing that like 10 years ago, more than 10 years ago, maybe 15 years ago, I'm a college student in Houston, Texas, getting ready to park my car, and this Caucasian individual was parked or standing in the parking spot. Now, she was waiting for her spouse to drive around to come and take this parking spot. But this was the only parking spot. And I literally had drove around this parking lot for about 30 minutes. It was Dave and Buster's. It was a birthday party. And I was like, I'm getting this parking spot. So I tell her, excuse me, I need you to move because I need this parking spot. My spouse is coming, blah, blah, blah. I'm sorry. You don't reserve parking spots like that. Get out of the way or you're going to get ran over. Her spouse comes, gets out of the vehicle, and calls me a nigger. And I was like, I looked at my best friend and I was like, nigger. Excuse me, nigger. What? First time I had ever been called a nigger. As far as what I could actually even remember. When I was a kid, somebody called me a nigger. And she got fired. But, anywho, I literally thought to myself, did he just call me that? Does he know who I don't understand it. Of course, I knew he was racist, which is why he was making that comment. But because black culture has made that word so loose in terms of the importance of it, the degradation of it, the history of our people here on this land about it, you've made it very, very conversational and like a cool thing, like what's up? Like, I've always associated nigger with a word that was like hood, ratchet, ghetto. So, on two different levels, I'm like, did he just call me? First of all, yes, I'm black. No, I'm not that. What? But now thinking about it, I'm like, yeah, anything could have happened that night. Now, granted, I called the police. I also had my Doberman in my vehicle. So 9 times out of 10, there wasn't much going down. But there's not much a Doberman can do for you if a bullet's coming at you. And so realizing that I have been in situations where I did not know what that outcome was going to be. But in that instant, I felt the need to stand up for myself, defend myself. I'm very vocal, obviously. And anything could have happened. It makes me think differently. I'm sure from now on, especially being a mother now, my thought process is a little bit different about how I speak to people who may catcall at me when I'm walking from the train or something like that. Because I don't know, you never know what somebody's going to do. And so it's kind of in our best interest not to put ourselves in situations where they have an opportunity to do something. Because most people, most hateful people like this, are just waiting for an opportunity. They're just waiting for you to do something, anything, that can allow them the opportunity to fuck you up. Just because they've got that much hatred. And so we need to start teaching our children. We need to start thinking ourselves as adults what we can do differently. Because we cannot control these people. We cannot make them stop. We cannot make them not hate anymore. So we're going to have to figure out some kind of way. Be active. Be an activist. Be proactive about spreading the word. Create a niche, a strong community, and always have a plan. If you're in a situation, what is your go-to? You need to have you some mace. You need to have you something. You need to take you some kickboxing lessons. You need to know how to fight. You need to know what to do if you're in a situation. You need to maybe make sure that you got a thumbprint on your phone and you can just hit it real quick rather than sitting there and putting in a password just so that you can go live real quick. Because that is what is saving people. And if you die in the process, that's the only thing you have for your story to live on. Because they are not going to tell your story the way it went down. And so it's imperative that we understand and that we know what to do immediately if we're in a situation like that. The first thing is to try to do everything in our power to make sure we're never in that kind of situation. The second thing is make sure you have an out. Get your ass online real quick. Record whatever you gotta do. And I've seen these videos where the police tries to get in front of a bystander who's recording or whatever so they don't get to record. Fuck that. But you also, again, need to be careful because you never know how that story is going to end. But at least when they see that somebody's recording, they are 10 times less likely, probably 100%, 90% less likely to do anything dumb after that. Because they know that you're recording and there's nothing they can do about that. And don't just record in your camera or whatever. Go on live. You cannot stop that. They cannot retrieve that. So, it's very unfortunate. I want to hurry up and wrap this up, but the next situation was in relation to Breonna. And this one is really sad. Breonna Taylor. I was very confused about this story. I had no idea. I was trying to understand the best that I could how this all happened. And I'm just going to paraphrase a little bit from USA Today. So, Breonna, I think a nurse, is in her home with her spouse. They are asleep. An intruder, they think an intruder, but the police come in, they've got a warrant for somebody's arrest. It's not neither one of the people that's in the house, but, matter of fact, the person that they had a warrant out for was already picked up by the police a couple of hours earlier. So this whole situation could have been avoided. You had no reason to have SWAT burst down, if it was SWAT, but I'm assuming it was SWAT because that's usually who does it, burst down somebody's door to get in, to get somebody. Now, this gentleman had been a drug dealer. They had tracked this man down at a trap house not far from Breonna's residence. And the reason why they decided to include her residence as the warrant, part of the warrant, was because the gentleman was receiving mail there. And so because he was receiving mail there, it kind of all got included. But this woman didn't have to die for this man's transgressions. He wasn't even there. You already had him in custody. So how the fuck did you burst down into this person's house? Guns ready. Her boyfriend doesn't know that you're the police. Doesn't give him an opportunity. All he knows is he's walking out of his sleep. He grabs his gun and he shoots. You don't shoot him, but you fire off 23 rounds into the home, and they hit Breonna. I think 8 shots or something like that. I don't know. So could have been avoided. 100% could have been avoided. And I'm wondering, is anybody going to lose their job because of that? Anybody. You can't bring the life back once you take it, so that's that. But is anybody going to be held accountable? Probably not. Not according to the statistics that I found. 99% of the people don't actually get charged, no recourse. I wonder how many white people you have out there who are racist, who actually become police officers just because they get to kill us. It's crazy. This world is completely crazy. There's a movie that I watched, and I wish I had looked it up. I don't remember the name of it, but it's a very powerful movie. It was ironic because the movie was like, it was like all shot in one scene or one space. Yeah. One set, sorry. For the most part. The majority of the movie was in this police department, and the couple was divorced or going through a divorce. And the son, who was a great kid, great student, was with somebody who, I don't know, there was some kind of story, but he got shot. He got out the car and he took off running. He took off running, I think, because they had killed the other guy. I don't know, something weird. But I was pregnant at the time, and it shook me so bad, realizing that I was having a black boy. And I love my boy. I wouldn't have any other way. But the realization of the pressures that black men face versus black women is greatly different. Women are not seen as much of a threat. We are more sexualized and objectified than a man. A man is seen to be more of a threat because of the power that he could have in terms of physical strength. And so, yeah, I have to figure out how to raise my son to know and understand what this world is really all about without creating hatred in him, but while creating wisdom and understanding of his environment and who he is, while also empowering him because of the color of his skin and because of who he is. We need to start thinking better about what we're doing, how we're doing it. We need to understand that we are targeted. That is a lot of people's goal, is they just don't like black people. And so we really have to do better. This story broke my heart, and I'm really glad that the black community has always showed up when we are able to have the information necessary to be able to show up for the people that have died at the hands of racism, injustice, and otherwise. Thank you so much for tuning in to my lovely channel. Sorry that it ran a little bit longer than preferred, but information is pertinent. Thank you guys. Like this lovely video, subscribe to this channel, share it, share the information. Thank you so much.